Welcome to the first ever episode of Motivation Mondays. This is going to be an interview Kobe Bryant, the late, great Laker legend, did in around 2007. And I think there's a lot of value that can be derived from this interview. It just shows you the mindset and the Mamba mentality that this man carried throughout his life and how he did not view winning and losing the same way that the average person did, and how if you view winning and losing through the lens that Kobe did, you can also reach his level of success or your own best version of whatever that success is in your life moving forward. So no further ado, let's dive into this interview. There's going to be a lot of gems, but I really want you to listen to what he says about failure not being an option. It's an opportunity to learn.
I always think that there's two types of players who love to win and players who hate to lose. Which one are you?
I'm neither.
Meaning?
I'm neither. Meaning that I play to figure things out. I play to learn something, right? Because I think if you play with a fear of failure, or you play with the will to win, or that supersedes the fear of failure, I think it's a weakness either way, right? Because if you play with the fear of failing, you'll have the pressure on yourself to play, to capitulate to that fear. If you play with the sense of I want to win, then you have the fear of what happens if you don't. But if you find common ground in the middle, in the center, then it doesn't matter. You're unfazed by either, right? And that enables you to really just stay in the moment, stay connected to it, and not feel anything other than what's in front of you. So I try to just be dead center.
So a lot of people in general are afraid of failure. How did you become one of those people who doesn't seem to be afraid of failing?
It doesn't exist. It's not existent. What the hell does that mean? Seriously, what does failure mean? It doesn't exist. It's a figment of your imagination. What does it mean?
You're pulling a Jedi mind trick on me
I'm
right now. I was
serious.
like, does it exist?
No, I'm serious. Look, I'm trying to think, how can I explain it? So, let's use happy endings, right? And then we can relate this to failure and why it's not existent. Everybody talks about, everybody wants a happy ending, right? Now let's go to the reality of it, right? Let's look at a fairy tale story. Let's look at Snow White. Mm-hmm. She gets a happy ending. She finds Prince, or whatever. She goes on. She lives happily ever after. Well, I call bullshit on that, because 2 months later, the fact is they had an argument and he's sleeping on the couch. Right? So the point is, the story continues. The story continues. So if you fail on Monday, the only way it's a failure on Monday is if you decide to not progress from that. Right? So to me, that's why failure is not existent. Because, if I fail today, I'm going to learn something from that failure, and I'm going to try again on Tuesday. And I fail, and I'm going to try again on Wednesday. So it doesn't exist.
You know what? Should my ratings go in the tank? That's exactly what I'm going to say to the bosses. Hey, it doesn't exist.
Yeah, but you know what?
We should try it again on Thursday.
If your ratings go in the tank, and which they won't, but if they did, you had learned a valuable lesson. You had learned a bunch of ways of how not to make a show that sucks. So then the next one will be better than the last one, right?
So are you telling me then, let's just say all the career statistics that you've compiled, they all still exist, you still play for the Lakers, and all of that still happens. If you finished your career without a championship, you would not have looked at that as a failure?
No, I would have looked at it as being extremely disappointed, because I had a dream and I had goals that I wanted to accomplish, right? And if I don't accomplish those goals, I have to ask myself why, right? So from my position, the reason why I would not have accomplished those things is poor leadership, failure to communicate properly with my teammates to put them in positions to be successful, lack of preparation. All those things would be reasons why I don't win, right? So now, if that was the case, in my career, I have to sit and I have to analyze that. And then as I move and I evolve, post basketball into business or whatever, those same weaknesses are going to reveal themselves there, right? So if I don't learn from that, I'm going to struggle here too, right? So I can take those situations and learn from those and have them, make me a better person later in life. But if I don't take that stuff and apply that someplace else, then that's failing, which to me is the worst possible thing you could ever have, is to stop and to not learn.
So Kobe has created.
Amazing advice and something that this man truly lived by. What an interview. First and foremost, I want to hear what you guys think of that in the comment section below. But for me personally, what I derived from that is that life is never ending. Okay? I mean, yes, obviously it comes to an end where we're not going to wake up one day. And I get that we pass on, or that's the end. But there is no failure in a sense while you're here unless you just stop, like he said. So the example he used was excellent because, being the team leader on the Lakers for so many years, he took full responsibility for why even his teammates weren't mentally prepared to win in the finals. Okay, so at the end of the day, that's what a man does. He takes full responsibility, whether it's his responsibility or it isn't. He assumes that responsibility for those around him, and he takes charge moving forward with his tribe of people as the one that will take the blame if things don't go as planned. And he's also used, what I loved about that was he's using that example as a way to transition, because before he passed away, Kobe was working on a children's book as well. So this man went from being one of the greatest NBA players of all time, working out 3 times a day. He has that infamous interview where he talks about his workout routine. I think it was on the Patrick Bet-David show, where he says this man got up at like 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., would work out till 7 or 8, then spend 2 hours with his family in the morning. Then from like 11 to 2, he'd work out again. Then he'd go back and rejuvenate, spend some time with his family, pick up his kids or whatever. And then from the evening after dinner on until like 10 at night, he would start training again and do work on something else. So this man was just constantly improving. And that's just a routine day for him. And he would do this years on end, which is why he became the closest thing, in my opinion, we've seen since Michael Jordan. So he's not going to just lose that momentum once you've instilled this as a man. This compound effect of this mentality that he's cultivated, you're not just going to lose that after you stop playing in the NBA, which was, I would say, his number one purpose, right? But who knows what this man could have went on to do after that? He was looking to be an author, a motivational speaker. He could have helped in so many different fields because he had the right mindset that he cultivated at such a young age, and he used through his purpose of basketball. So there's something out there. This is the reason I'm making this video. There is something out there that that's watching this video that you might feel you're failing at, or it's like you're at a dead end in whatever it is, and it's just not going the way you hoped it would go. But instead of giving up on that thing or viewing it as, okay, like I'm throwing in the towel, this is it, like I'm never going to try again, what are some other things that you can take away from that failure or that perceived failure that you were going through right now in order to move on to something greater in the future, instead of just holding on to what didn't work, what did work within that system in the past, and what didn't work, so you can know what to tweak and improve upon in the future moving forward.